Well, I'm loving it out here in the desert again. We're middle of March and not even patchy snow out here anymore. Although it did get cool at night, everything froze that was exposed last night. So get into, we basically have three styles of ponchos, and the three styles are, number one is just our kind of go-to that we started with, the regular ripstop nylon, and that's the most popular version. Then after that one, we years ago we introduced the HD, the heavy duty version, made out of Cordura nylon. The regular ripstop version is good for users. We have different sizes for your body size, but like for use in hammock mode, the regular ripstop is, it's good for around 300. We got people 350 or more actually using them, but that's just kind of our recommendation. The HD, I kind of tell people, if you can walk, you can use it. I mean, really, the weight limit on the HD is going to be your suspension, You probably definitely want to do the Dyneema cording. And you got to make sure your trees or whatever you're hanging from, the heavier the user is, the more secure that needs to be, right? So we have a HD ripstop, which is kind of in the middle. It's actually, strength-wise, it's actually way more towards the full HD. But weight-wise, it's like a full pound lighter. So it's about 30% lighter. And then we have the SuperUL. So that one is super ultralight, made out of a special fabric. We had it for a while, and then it went away for a couple years, like mostly during the COVID. We couldn't even get the fabric. But it's a special, like, super high strength nylon fabric that's light plus really strong for how light it is. And so that one only weighs 9 ounces. So it's a nice one to use for backpacking, or I usually throw one of those in like a day pack or some of my gear and just leave it there. So I've always got a poncho, I've always got a hammock, I've always got some kind of a tarp that I can use it for. And it's only 9 ounces, so and it's pretty compact, so I mean, that works good, So recently, we also introduced an OSNI, so that's our insulated poncho liner. We in the last 6 months basically introduced an OSNI liner that is called SuperUL OSNI liner. And that thing weighs only 22 ounces, and it's pretty warm. It's pretty nice. 2.5 ounce Climate Shield insulation, and it's nice, super light fabrics. Light, but pretty darn tough for being, light fabrics. So that's pretty cool. And then now we're introducing the SuperUL blanket to go with the SuperUL Osni poncho liner. The blanket will make it possible to, that way if you're sleeping in a hammock, you can use the SuperUL poncho for the hammock. You can put the SuperUL Osni underneath as an underquilt. And then you can use the SuperUL blanket on top for your covers. And all this stuff snaps together. It's got a really nice plastic snap system. Very, very durable. Very nice system. We've been using it for years. And so all these things all work together. The Osnis, like any other of our Osnis, they're all stackable, double-sided snaps. So you can snap one on top of the other to create a thicker setup if you want. So anyway, I'm going to show you a little about that today out here on my hike. Anyway, I'm just out here exploring around a little today. Right up here is these couple of junipers here. I'm going to see if I can work out a hang from there or somewhere close around here. Well, this will work between these two trees here. And you notice it's like I'm standing in the middle of a corral here. The cows have been in here lounging. I mean, it's been a while since they've been in here, because everything here is all dry. It's not like I'm actually standing in the middle of a corral, but so I just kind of kick it out of the way. That's, you know, just something that out in the desert, the cows graze all out through here certain seasons of the year. So we just live with it. All right, I've cleaned everything up for y'all in case it bothers anybody. Doesn't bother me. Well, if it's wet, that's a different story. All right, so this is the SuperUL poncho, 9 ounces. I'm actually not sure what cordage I've got in here because I was, let's see here, because I was doing a demonstration of different cords with this in the last video I did. Looks like we're good. Okay. Okay, now this right here is my SuperUL Osni poncho liner, which can be worn standalone like a long coat over me. Snaps down the sides. I can put my poncho over the top of that. I can snap my poncho to it in that mode. I can hang my poncho up as a hammock like I'm going to show you here. And then I can use this thing instead of inside the poncho, I can put it underneath the poncho as an underquilt. It'll snap to. It has draw cords on the ends to cinch the ends up so there's no draft between there. So that's cool. It does have double-sided snaps, so it can be layered. And then this is the new SuperUL Osni blanket, 14 ounces, so super light. And even though we stuff them in these mesh bags so they breathe, so you can put them in here even damp and it'll dry out. But see, I can easily, without any effort at all, compress it to half what that is. So these are by no means compressed. They're just stuffed in this mesh bag, okay? There's a number of cordage options. This one is the Dyneema, or no, we don't use the word Dyneema anymore. So this is a daisy chain webbing. Every 3 inches there is another loop. And instead of being sewn, these are woven. So it's nice and compact. It's a lot flatter than the old style sewn daisy chain. And each one of these loops is rated at 1,500 pounds. So plenty strong. So all I do to hook this thing up is just put one end around the trunk or a branch or whatever. In this case I'm using a branch because there's one right here in a good spot. And this trunk section is pretty big around. So this way will give me more length between trees that this will accommodate. So this poncho here was set up with the quick connect cord inside, the Amsteel blue cord, which is Samson ropes Amsteel cord or Dyneema cord. Has a coating on it that makes it a little longer lasting, holds knots better, stuff like that. Now I've got a little distance. Normally I just put a toggle through both of these together, like I'd pull this through here. I guess I'll just show you. I just did a video showing how to do this. So it comes with toggles. So right there, that's all you got to do. But if I need more length to go between trees, then there's a different way I can do this. Instead of putting both of the eyes up, I put one eye through the other one and then pull on it. Just cinch it down that way, which that gives me about, close to an arm's length of extra length. So most of the time we don't need it. Most of the time we just put both eyes together and toggle them that way. But I think I'm not sure. I think between trees I might be a little long, so I'll at least do it on this side. I can probably go back on that other side and put it back to both eyes together. Usually I'm pretty good at judging these, but I'm off a little today. Anyway, so I'm just going to pin it right here, toggle it. Now it does have this little shock cord right here that you can put around like that. Kind of keeps everything in place so it can't really go any farther away. Plus it helps keep you from losing this somewhere or whatever. I don't always use the shock cord, but it's on there for you. All right, I'm going to adjust the other side and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so I put that back and I'm still plenty long. So I'll come over here. One of the nice things about this little system here is it's really easy to adjust it. Right there. I just moved it a bunch, just like that. I can probably go up here at least one, maybe two. We'll go two. Okay. All right. Now once I hang mine, I just like to put a little weight on it. It kind of cinches everything down. And then I always grab the hood, the drawstring on the hood, and pull on it. So that closes the hood down and turns it into about a gallon and a half size pocket for you, okay? So now I'm good to go here. I don't know, I might could actually go well, it's not too bad. Yeah, I could probably go up. I don't need to yell. I could probably go up one more on at least one side if I want to, but yeah, it's going to do it just fine. Now, this right here, boots, technically not really allowed in a SuperUL poncho hammock setup. Because the fabric, even though it is strong, it'll hold my body weight, no problem. But I have to be careful. I'm used to it, so I don't ever like dig my heels in when I try to adjust myself. I usually kind of spread my legs in here, and then I kind of shift around with my arms on the top end. So, because you don't want to, if you put all your body weight on your heels and dig your heels into there, you could possibly damage it. So, I mean, it's not like we got people doing that, but it is possible. Okay? I think I might pull this up one more on this side. This side looks maybe a hair low. Okay. Yeah, it's still good. All right. So, I'm out here. This is sand, sandy clay, whatever the soil out here. And, there's no way I'm really not going to get this stuff all dirty. So, I don't really care. I don't worry about it. All right, so now at this point, so I want this to be my underquilt. So it's going to go underneath. And you see we've got these snaps here on the poncho. We have snaps on the osni that will pair up with these snaps. And I'm going to flip this thing end for end. Okay, so one thing typically is the hood on my poncho, the front is facing this way. So typically on your osni, you want it to face the hood opening to face that way, because what we want to do is we want these snaps. So I need a female snap. I got a female snap here, so I need a male on here. Now, if I wasn't using the blanket, it wouldn't matter. I could do anything I want. But I need another snap position. See, I can snap this side or that side. So I really wouldn't need to turn it around. But since I'm going to need to snap my blanket on top of this, I need to be able to use a snap position here. And I've got them because it's double-sided. Anyway. So it might be, once you have one, it's probably easier to understand than me just telling you here. But anyway, so yeah, so what we do is we just go through here. We snap these things up. Now you're going to have a snap right in the very middle that won't match the poncho. And that's just one to go, because you can fold this, if you're small enough body frame, you can fold this thing in half lengthwise and make a sleeping bag out of it. Draw the drawstrings on each end and get all the way inside of it. So we put an extra snap in the very center to help accommodate that, but it really has no other purpose. So anyway, so when you're snapping to your poncho and you're like, hold it, I got an extra snap here. That's why. There it is right there. see. So there's the, oops. So there's the extra snap right there. There's one on the Osni, not one here. You know, and I've got people that talk about me making a snakeskin or something like that for this gear so that nothing drags on the ground. And I don't know. I'm kind of busy right now, but at some point I might toy with that idea. I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. Now, depending on your layout, you might actually have a couple extra snaps, but it doesn't matter. Technically, you could do this whole thing with no snaps. Just pull the drawstrings on the end and it'll work pretty well just like that. But if you even just get a couple snaps snapped, that's good. It's mostly just kind of helps hold everything kind of up here together. And that way you don't need shock cords and all that kind of stuff. So now I do the same again. I pull my hood. Okay. All right. So now I have a full length underquilt. Like a lot of underquilts are only 3/4 length or something like that. This is end to end. And oh, I need to show you. We do gather these things. So there's a drawstring inside of here. It actually will pull out of both sides. And I used to always do that, but when we started using, if you order one of these, the Quick Connect with the daisy chain webbing, I find it works fine just to do one of them. Leave the other one inside of there. There's a bar tack in here that keeps it from pulling out. So, and if you happen to pull too hard on this, that cord will just slide through the cord lock. So you don't have to worry like if you pull it, like you're gonna hurt something by snugging this up too much. It'll self-regulate anyway. Okay. All right, so let me do the other end and then we're ready to put our blanket on. All right, now we're ready to put the blanket on. And what I do whenever I have my stuff bags and everything goes in, I just pull the gear out and I shove the stuff bag down in the hood hole. Okay, so now, here we are right here. Now, the SuperUL Osni gear, we don't have a color choice on it. The fabric is very limited. So the outside fabric is a 3/4 of an ounce micro ripstop nylon 6/6. So it's a premium grade of nylon, very strong, sturdy, even though it's light. But that's the outside fabric. It's woven very tight. That's why you want that dark olive on the outside, because it's actually gonna prevent a lot of wind from even getting into your insulation at all. Okay, the inside is charcoal, and that's like a 1/2 ounce micro ripstop membrane fabric. Very nice, super breathable. Okay, so what I want to do here is just kind of see where my snaps are at. And now here's the thing, like I don't have to flip this thing end for end at all, because all Osni gear comes with double-sided snaps. So I can snap this thing down directly like this, or I can just turn it under and snap it with the female side. So I don't have to do And I could do that with this if I wasn't putting the blanket over it. But I needed to make sure I had a snap position left, okay? So, I know it might be hard to understand that, but it's just how it is. Don't worry. Don't worry, be happy. Oh, now, also, the Osni SuperUL blanket is 7 feet long, 84 inches. And what I've got here is the PSS-LE, so the LELB. Those sizes are 8 feet long. So this is a little shorter than the whole setup, which is perfectly fine. You don't, I mean, if somebody needs a longer one, we can make one. Go there and there. So see, I can just go like this and snap down. And like I was saying, the Osni it has 3 extra snaps because it has 2 extra snaps to make dual-sized sleeves when you're wearing it in the poncho mode. So, okay. So look at that. Doesn't that look sharp? All right. So now we just work our way down this side. And there's that sleeve snap there. Okay. And we just keep on going right here. So there we are. Now this is literally the first time, like I've used this a number of times with the Osni liner as an underquilt and the SuperUL. But this is the first time I've used the SuperUL blanket. And I like this kind of shiny, slightly shiny charcoal color on the inside. That's nice. Alright, so you see, like if I need to move around, see how my legs are going. So I'm pushing with my legs, I'm not digging my heels. Now normally, I wouldn't be getting in and out of here with boots on. I'd take them off and leave them right here. But for today, alright, so here's the way I work the blanket, alright? So you see this whole section right here is the bottom. So the cool thing is, that means I can, and it's a little harder to do with my boots on, so bear with me. But, yeah, it's a lot harder with my boots on. But what I typically do, I'll take my feet and I'll kind of start gathering, I'll start pushing, I'll gather extra down to my foot end, and then I use one of my feet to kind of work it underneath. So I actually have a double or triple layer of insulation around my feet, and then just the single layer, I mean that's all you need for your legs and the rest of you. And depending on the weather conditions, if it's not bad, I just let this thing hang over like this, right? But if it's kind of windy, what I do is I pull it down and I'll kind of tuck it to the side of my legs, maybe side of my hips or whatever. Now this might get a little fuzzy sounding because I'm kind of pulling all this over top of me, so just bear with. Alright, so now then, I'm all inside. And actually our temperature out here, it may not look like it, but our temperature is less than 40 degrees out here, so it's still not even really that warm. Anyway, so you're going to hear some noise, but anyway. But I will But I'll tuck around my shoulder. The other side over here is snapped, so I don't have to worry about that. And you can sleep just like this, just fine. You're good to go. Nice and warm, cozy. Everything here is breathable, so body moisture, well, at least going up, body moisture going upward can escape out the top. Now if it's really cold, here's what I will do. I'll pull the blanket over top of my head and tuck it in behind my head. Now this is all very breathable, so it's not a problem being in here. And it's breathable enough that typically we don't even run into any kind of moisture problem inside of here with breathing inside. Everything just kind of vents through the fabric, the insulation to the outside. So that works really nice. Putting your head all the way inside gives you, I don't know, I can't remember, temperature range. It's at least 15 degrees or so difference that it'll make by breathing inside. Because now you're not sucking cold air in, moisturizing it, warming it up, and then breathing it right back out. So that's kind of like, that's pumping heat out of your body doing that. So with this kind of setup here, you can breathe inside and retain more of the body heat. Now sometimes I'll do a little tunneling where I'll just kind of, I can't really show you. I'll have it over my head and I'll make just a little gap. So maybe because sometimes you just feel like you want to bring in a little bit of outside air. So I'll just create a little gap here somewhere. And so that I can just have a little bit of flow of air from the outside, but I'm not like fully outside like this, breathing, you know, with my head, never just breathing, you know, totally cold air in. So anyway, that's just a tip for cooler weather. I can feel warmth underneath me. I can feel warmth on top of my legs, you know, up here on my body here. I can feel a nice amount of warmth and everything. This right here is probably good easily in the 30s, just like this. I've slept like this I haven't used the SuperUL, but this is the same insulation as the Osni Light. The cover fabric's just lighter here, so insulation wise, yeah, I should be good into the 30s or possibly even into the 20s, depending on weather conditions, you know. All right, so there we have it. The complete, actually not quite complete. I'm thinking about maybe even offering this as a kit. So this is like the complete SuperUL. So it's the SuperUL poncho, 9 ounces. It's the SuperUL underquilt, 22 ounces. So that's 31 total. 14 ounces for the blanket. So that'd be 31, 41, 45. 45 ounces, I guess, for the whole setup. And that ain't bad, really. Because you got gear that you can use multiple ways, you know. I can walk around with this stuff, you know, on me as a poncho, as a full-length coat. I can be warm in this stuff, you know, below zero. So, you know, walking around or staying around camp or whatever. So, you know, I can use the poncho as a tarp. I mean, I got a lot of options. And this stuff here being such a tight weave on this SuperUL cover fabric, the dark olive side, I'm going to do a video. I've actually poured water in it like a basin, and it's so tight the water doesn't like just run through it. Not bad, man. Not bad. SuperUL. Oh, the other thing I was going to say, is we can get the storm shield we're now offering in SuperUL. So you could, and it mounts on the foot end of your hammock, and you just, if you need it, you just pull it over you. Done. You're out of the rain. So, and even wind. So that might be SuperUL plus kit. Thinking of doing like a kit that has poncho, liner, and blanket as a kit. And then maybe we'll do the kit plus would have the SuperUL storm shield, which that can be used on the ground, over a hammock or whatever. It's kind of, I'll have to do a whole nother. There's videos on the storm shield. We've had that for years. So anyway, but I might do one in relation to this and do the whole kit plus. I don't know. Anyway, Perry Peacock Wilderness Innovation. Enjoy my time out here. Still winter camping, but you gotta love it.